Hello, my U-Turn family. Welcome to the U-Turn Show. If you are new, this is a platform for empowering our communities through impactful conversations, real life stories, and resources for youth and women. Every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, we gather here to spotlight voices that challenge limits and those that reminds us that real change begins the moment we choose to turn in a new direction, to make a U-turn. So, if you are navigating change in your life, looking for clarity, or building the next big thing, you belong here. So, share this conversation and stick with us as we begin the real talk, real growth, real U turn.
Yeah. Wait, I think. All right. All right. Good evening. Good afternoon. Good morning, whoever watching us today. Um, Today we are again with our engineer Thon. So he has been one of the people that has been making U-turns, U-turning around us, and we are so excited today to introduce him to you once more. So today we are going to talk on the topic that is so interesting to all of us. Wherever you are watching from, please, we are going to be short and brief today. Our topic of today is about understanding purpose, function, and design for success. So I think all of us, we want to be successful in life. So we need also to understand about ourselves really and how we should be successful. So coming to the introduction, his name is Thon Malek. He's well known as Thon Isaiah. So a lot of name he has. He's a PhD scholar doing artificial intelligence. He's also having a master's in computer science, software engineering, and is also one of the lecturers at Upper Nile University. It has so much experience that I could not say it so far. And at this juncture, I would like to welcome him and introduce himself for us. So our audience, on the comment section, please write down where you are watching us from and what you know about Thon Malek and what you are expecting, what he's going to tell us today. What do you think that you can really learn from him? So write down on the comment section where you are watching us from. Thank you. Engineer, you are welcome.
All right, thank you once again, Utan family, for another time given to me. I really appreciate. And for those who are watching right now, we are here again focusing on understanding purpose, function, and design for success. As earlier on introduced, my name is Thon Malek Garang. A lot more was said. I focus much more on motivational speaking, and of course, I'm an engineer and also a lecturer focusing on currently on AI for medicinal plants identification and all to do with access to medicinal plant information. So that is where my research is based. And I'm very, very passionate and not really, let me say, being passionate, apart from what I've talked about, this is where we get to know, okay, I am an engineer, a motivational speaker, and a lot more that I can do, which is my purpose and which is my career. So let me say this, in the next 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, I will talk about this topic. Everybody, whatever level, at the national level, country level, the institutional level, the family level, individual level, we all need to understand purpose, function, and design. And I will actually take us to what God said, that He said, let us make man in our own image. Then He went ahead and began to design the man to meet that function for which the purpose was established. So there is always a purpose for anything. If you, let me just say, broadly speaking, anything that exists for a given purpose, but it has been established to meet that purpose through a function. then the design has to be structured in the way that the design meets the function for the purpose that was established. So if anybody does not understand the purpose, a lot of abuses in the world are around the purpose. If if we don't understand the purpose of a country, we can abuse it because we'll set on the function of a country. Let me just give an example of this. We have knives at home. You see, the purpose, have you not seen people committing suicide using knives? Because they are using functions. You see? So you get a knife, and because the knife can function as just let's say for cutting, then you just use it. That is an abuse of a knife, isn't it? But a knife was well structured for that function and designed to meet that given purpose. Families, if anybody does not understand the purpose of a family, anybody can abuse it. It'll just become a center of chaos, a center of a lot of issues because you are focusing on function instead of focusing on purpose, isn't it? And anybody who only focuses on the design will always focus on decorations. Because if you focus on any design that you don't know the function that is supposed to meet for whichever purpose it is, you can even go and just put on scales on yourself, the one that which are supposed to be for the fish. Then as a human being, you might choose to wear them because you don't know the purpose for that, isn't it? Imagine a situation where we are forcing wings on a lion. We simply say we love this lion so much that we want it to fly. Why would you force the lion to fly? Because the purpose of a lion has nothing to do with flying. So all that design that is on the lion has been established in a way that has to meet a given function that a given purpose was established. So anybody that does not understand the purpose will always abuse the function. And in most cases, anybody who just only looks at the design without looking at the purpose for which that design was made, that person will only focus on decorations. So purpose is highly very important. That even our own bodies, the Bible says that your body is a temple of the Holy Ghost. Do you know why? Because God knows that we can put anything there. We can listen to any nonsense. We can eat anything. Because if it is only just to use the body, you can use it for anything if you don't know the purpose for which it exists. Like, for instance, let us look at the youth. It reaches a point that when your reproductive system is demanding, it seems like the body and the feelings are always taking you around. The question you should be asking, is this body meant to meet the requirements of the feelings, or there is a purpose through which this body was established, and all that is in our bodies are supposed to function to meet that purpose. And so even the design is structured along that line. Purpose is highly very important. If we are to take an ego to the water sources and say, now this ego, you are very powerful, so you were designed to work everywhere. Just in as much as ego is very powerful, you will not work well in that water environment because it was designed to meet a given function for a given purpose. Anybody who intends to succeed must understand the purpose. Why do I exist? Purpose is not chosen. It is something that is an inbuilt. It is something that God has placed in every person. God did not consult Adam that what are you going to do? No. God has already established Adam a purpose in him. God is given purpose in him. So he had to design him to function to meet that given purpose. So all that we do is to uncover that purpose. Why do I exist? How do I uncover that purpose? Through constructive questions. Why am I alive? What particular problem do I always feel like solving? That if you know that you exist, then you should always be asking a question, what is the purpose for this life? Because if you don't ask that question, your life can also become a big problem to the world. You know, some people, instead of coming to the world as gifts to enhance the life of humanity, they come to destroy, because they now find themselves, they have the ability, they have the energy, but the energy is misdirected because of not understanding the purpose. Anybody can carry a gun, and you can shoot anyone as long as you don't know the purpose of the gun. And that gun was designed to meet that function for which that purpose exists. If we do not understand the purpose of societal communities, let's say, for example, why do we have a tribe? Why do we have 64 tribes? We will use them to abuse ourselves. We use them to tear down the country because we don't know, and we don't know the reason why that particular tribe exists. Everything in this world exists for a given purpose. And everything that has a destiny must have a source. And when it has a source, there must be a purpose for which that originator has decided in a way that it has to function to meet that particular purpose. If anybody does not understand that anything can be abused, even education can be abused. When education functions as a tool to pass, let's say, when exams are functioning as tool to pass, let's say, to go to the next level, just to have a paper, then now education is being abused. That you don't understand the purpose of education. It is through purpose that educational system are designed to meet that purpose. Otherwise, it is just a matter of me asking who are the answers so that I come and I fill them in an exam. If we do not know what is the purpose of education, precisely, purpose, function, and design are very important. They cover anything, whether politics, whether economics, whether research, whatever it is, they always fall in that categories because anything has to work to meet a given purpose. But one of the most dangerous things in the world is when you are working by function. Functions are very dangerous because anything can work differently, can be abused not to align to the purpose. And that's why the world is where it is today, because of functions. God said, you can eat of everything, all those fruits, all the trees, but that one in the middle of the garden don't. Because it was meant, you see, it functions and its design are established in the way that it has to meet a given purpose. Whether it looks good to Eve, that is not the issue. Looking good is not the problem. Anything can look good, but for a given purpose, isn't it? Yes. And that is why we as people, as communities, are those whom God has given something inbuilt that he wants us to deliver, to serve to humanity. We have to be careful. Everything that we touch, we have to question, what is the purpose of this? Why is it designed this way? It has been designed in the way that it meets the function, and then this function has to meet the purpose. Some people have taken their lives early to the grave because of appetite. They don't know the purpose of the stomach. If the purpose of the stomach is just to take anything, you can go to the grave anytime. Because unless you understand why this body is existing, how should I sustain it? If I go by function only, I can drink anything, I can eat anything, I can smoke anything. But if I am guided by the function, which has been anchored on a purpose, then that is where the choice comes in. It is always difficult to choose where there is no purpose. Anything goes when there is no purpose. But where there is purpose, purpose determines the function, and the function determines the design. And that's why if you want to design a plane to work like a ball and say, no, I think this plane should just be round, just like a ball, there would be a problem because it serves a different purpose. Then it functions in a way that it has to cut that pressure. That's why it has that kind of sharp element pointed, because all the designs are to meet a given purpose. Where purpose has been abused, all functions can be used in a way that you will not understand, because human beings are in position to live the purpose and they settle on the function only. All the drugs, all the medicine that has been established are very important. All of them are very important for a given purpose. But if we settle on functions, they can be used for anything. Yes. All medicine can be used for anything. All knives can be used for anything. Even the mouth can be used for anything. The words that should come from people's mouths to construct society, when the mouse has been used for a function rather than a purpose, it comes to destroy a community. So, in summary, what we have discussed on this section is understanding purpose, function, and design. Everything in this life, anybody who has come to this life has come with something, a gift that God, who the creator, who is the source of life, has given you and me, and has instructed us, go and serve this gift to the world. And then, meaning that if you have that gift functions in a way that supports that purpose, and it has been designed in that way. Otherwise, anything can be very destructive. I have mentioned a lot of things. I have mentioned a lot of abuses, from politics, from human empowerment, from religion, from family, from finances, from academia. All the first question should be asked: what is the purpose of this? If you only understand the function of that, then always work hard to get the purpose. Because if you know, the dangerous thing with function gives you alternatives. You see, and that is why it is always very easy to abuse. You know, you can get a knife for this, you can use it for that, you can use it for that, you can use it for that. It is only the purpose that can direct how it functions. And the purpose also directs how it is designed. You know, the knives are designed that way because of the purpose. And that is why it is very important for somebody whom God has given an opportunity to exist, that amidst all these issues in the world, where purpose has been abused through the use of functions, and the designs have also been misused, people can just wear anything. Because if you don't understand the purpose, your body can just become an element of decoration, because you don't understand what it is. You can just put anything on yourself, because our bodies exist because of that. I can eat anything if I don't understand the purpose. I can listen to anything if I don't understand the purpose of this life. But when you and I understand the purpose that God has put in this life, we are keen to question the uses. What is this function for? We are keen on the design. And if that is the case, we should be establishing a design that goes along with the function for which our lives have been given that God-given purpose, so that by the time anybody exits the world will be happy that you existed. Why? Because you came to work on that particular purpose. Otherwise, you look at a situation where somebody has just lived, has just going through life, but it was not alive because of misaligned purpose or abuse of purpose through use of function. Thank you.
All right. I think network kicked me out, but thank God I'm back. Um, it has been a nice discussion, and I really appreciate how you have really defined the purpose and the function and the design and how things are used. So just only a follow-up question on that. You see, there are a lot of people like a student all around. Actually, they don't know their purposes. The only purpose that they know is to go to school. They don't know what they are functioned for. That is the only thing they know. So according to how you define the purpose, what do you have to tell some of the students that their purpose is not only go to school, they have other things to do? And on the comment section, please, I really appreciate those who are participating. Thank you. You can also put your question down, and you ask any of the question that you want to ask. The engineer is here around with us. He can answer any of the question. And our discussion today is not the same as usual. So we want also you to ask some of the question, and they will be answered directly. Thank you for watching. Yes, back to you, engineer.
All right, thank you, thank you. Yes, on this side of the purpose, one of the questions which always stands out is, how do I identify my purpose in life? And it is in the way that there is that always inner voice that always tells you that, yes, you are making money here, but that's not where you should be, isn't it? Yes. Yes, that is one of the things that will take you toward that direction. There is that problem that you always notice, and you see that you have there is a way you feel that you can address that particular problem. That is where your purpose in life is. Purpose is aligned. God supports the purpose by giving you a talent and the ability to accomplish that, isn't it? You always find yourself, you are tending towards a given direction. I said earlier on, I am an engineer. I have, we have been fighting with a lot of mathematics. I've done a lot of programming, but that's not my talent, isn't it? Yes, those are ladders that I can use to climb, isn't it? I use them to support. I use them to support my talent. I use them to support the given God's given purpose in life. If I look at an example of this gentleman called Paul, Paul, he has most of his life has been spending fighting the people, isn't it? That he was persecuting the Christians. He thought that was just actual occupation. You can be occupied by anything. Some of the things are not even good enough, but some are ladders. But when he came to realize that his purpose in life, he has been called as an apostle to the Gentiles. This is not all about preaching everywhere gospel. I'm a gospel preacher. No, clear an apostle to the Gentiles. And that is what God has deposited in his life. Then he had to accomplish that. But alongside, he was also working on 10 to support his life, to support his mission. And that's why he was so poor. He was doing the business of 10 making, isn't it? So we are not discarding professions here, okay? But we're actually looking for the bigger call, a deeper call, something that even when you have all the money, you still feel empty. Something still tells you that yes, that money does not represent you. That is a representation on bank account, but that is something that you have not deposited here. You see, when you always have that burning, something burning in you, telling you that no, yes, you have the money, yes, you have the fame, yes, you have that, but you are just like a lion in the sea, isn't it? Something tells you that you are not meant to be here. You are king of the jungle. Please, in as much as this is a good place, yes, you are a good friend of crocodiles, but you are in a wrong environment. Go back there. You know, yes, you can be birds together with other birds, but something tells you, yes, as an ego, I was designed for something different. Yes, yes, I love them. These are my friends. All these birds are my friends. Yes, I would even love convenience. I would just fly just low level, but I was designed. I was designed to train in those storms, in those mountainous environment. When it is the hardest, that's where I thrive, isn't it? So one of the things that always leads to as a purpose is always to question, why does this life exist? If you always question that, why do I have this life? Then that question alone always takes you towards discovering your purpose. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I think the question has been answered. Back to a conflict. I see you have something to ask the engineer. You're welcome.
Thank you, Liz, and thank you, engineer. I actually one of my question you had already answered about career and purpose. You clearly said that your career as a lecturer, as a scholar, is different from your purpose. Your purpose is to motivate young people, to motivate, to encourage people, to inspire people to take action and change their life. That's what you say, that it's your calling, it's your purpose. But your career is different. So my question was, you mentioned something about another question was, you mentioned about purpose of the family and the function of the family, and you think that we don't if we don't know the purpose of the family, then we can abuse a family. So I wanted to have a follow-up question on that point, because I am you know an advocate of family and relationship, positive relationship, because they foster growth and empowerment. So how can we use the purpose of the family to create positive atmosphere in our families that can enable us to grow. Like, what can we understand about the purpose of the family from your experience, from what you learn and what you're seeing, and how can we change that dynamic to really empower the next generation of people to be family oriented? I'm asking that question because I see a lot of young people online on TikTok. They don't like family anymore. They see value in family. They don't see value in family. They are using the word family in the wrong way, in vain.
All right, thank you, thank you. Yes, everything that God has established, there is a purpose. You know, the Bible says that men are plans in the heart of men, but only God's purpose will prevail. Yes. So we are here. Everything that has been designed, we are simply fulfilling that template that God has designed. So when He has designed family as a unit, isn't it? Then that is where we can thrive. And you know, one of the myths that is used again is the family. Family is seen as a problem-free environment. There is no environment that God has designed problem-free unless we are not given brains. That environment is not there. Yes. Every environment that has been established, it requires our brains to solve that problem, isn't it? So one of the reasons as to why people run away from those issues to do with family, you know, people consider that victim mentality, and that's why I think in the near future, one of the some of the works that I will put on paper here will focus on victims mainly. You know, you begin to isolate yourself, then look at the family as maybe center for poverty, center for less information, center for that, and center for that. And you now stand on a different environment that you want to foster a given what? A given life. That is not possible. Because actually you are a summary of your family. What we simply do is to unlearn those negative impacts which families have on us. But none of us can run away from the family. That is not possible. There are values which have been placed, isn't it? So meaning all of us can appreciate the value of a family and appreciate the fact that we are in family to solve those problems, not to run away from them. And we are not in families to imitate other families. That is not our business, isn't it? Every family is unique and every family has been designed to meet a given purpose, isn't it? That's why you find that God gives you an opportunity. For those who are married, you have your wife and your husband. Now you have a purpose. And then when these children are coming in, you also have a purpose. You have a purpose even to transform the nation, but not by running away, because relocation has never been a solution, isn't it? Yes, because relocating the body, isn't it, does not make any change. It is only when we are transforming the mind so that it can transform the environment that what will make a difference. And that's why I stand by saying that God has given everyone a family, and there is a purpose for that family. If it is not doing well, that's why you exist, and that's why I exist. Let us design it, because there is no one called to be the background architect. Every time you can design it from now onwards. If I feel that there is how I look at my family, I can design it. I can just simply say, okay, let me consider them as a great grandfather. Let me design the future generation. Yes. Yes, that is it. And you can consider yourself as a background and design it. But now, sometimes we have the feeling that we need a background that has been redesigned. So we need to be in that environment, isn't it? But the reality is that when we are in the family, we appreciate that God has given us these families. Whatever challenges we are facing, let us redesign. There's something good that this James Clear says: instead of becoming victim of environment, be an architect, design it, so that the future generation look at it differently, isn't it? If families are not doing well, it is not the families, isn't it? It is because we have lessened our contributions on how we make constructive families, isn't it? Otherwise, if all of us are withdrawing from families and then we begin to blame the name family, names do not work. I've never seen an abbreviation that solves a problem. It is the human beings we come up and solve what problems, isn't it? And that's why even earlier with our founding fathers, we had the SPLM, isn't it? That was an abbreviation, but people had to what? People have to put their acts together to ensure that this one makes sense through the liberation, isn't it? So families are very important, and that purpose is very important. Another component on this, not understanding the family, that if a man understands a family, that my role as a man in the family is provision. When your wife happens to also provide, you will have issues. And that's because you don't understand the purpose of a family. When your wife is earning more than you begin to fight her because you do not understand the purpose of family. You focus on the function only. So, and by function, you say, I need to be a provider. And a situation where a lady now sees, now they have been on me for years, I've been the one receiving. So now I'm at a different level where I can be the one to provide. So in this case, now I am a man. Then now the purpose of a family has been abused because God has created these two unique people in that family. All of them are different, isn't it? All of them are different, but they have to work together to fulfill the purpose for which God has established that family, isn't it? No one will step on the other, isn't it? And no one will become very important. Like, for instance, let's say I call Philip. Today, as you thrive and you do all that, you can become even president of the world, even president of this country, but we can still appreciate you as a woman that God has brought to this world with a purpose that you have to serve to community, isn't it? You don't need to be a man. You don't need that, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, and that's why even for us as Africans, sometimes because of some level of oppression and lack of purpose, sometimes we feel that if we behave like the Western world, when I talk about Western world, I talk in the context of imitation, just imitating something that is not actually applying to you. That for you to be considered to be educated man, educated lady, you need to behave in that way. Then now you don't understand the purpose of education, isn't it? Because education does not transform you into somebody's lifestyle, isn't it? It actually gives you the skills and the tools so that you can use them to really to serve to the world the gift and the talent that God has given you. Yeah, and that's why I always like our brothers, especially the Nigerians. They are not concerned. You see, they're well established in the world. They are not even concerned about the accent. That's because, isn't it? Because whatever accent they use, that is not a problem, isn't it? As long as I understand them, they are in this life to solve a given problem. I don't need to imitate anyone. I don't need to even whatever it is. I appreciate them the way they are, isn't it? And I am who I am, comfortable with who I am, and I have come to serve all this. So it came from the family. When children do not understand the purpose of the family, then it will be abused, isn't it? Even not understanding the purpose of children, then children can as well be abused. Everything is about a purpose. And when we all understand the purpose, we will always be getting the values which are aligned with that purpose to take that family to the next level. Because the president is in the family, doctor in the family, Akwal Philip in the family, Liz Jog in everybody, motivational speakers all come from families. So if we abuse the families, motivational speaker will have trauma, and the doctors will have lawyers. Everybody will come up with some toxic environment, hitting the family. But family is innocent, isn't it? Whatever that has been done by those in the past, that is how they chose to design that environment. And now you and me, we are given the tools. We are now the background to design the future. And so in the next In the next, somebody will say, no, I am coming from the poor background. Who will be the poor background in the next 50 years? It is us, isn't it? So why would we accept that? By rejecting that is by taking the tools and redesign to be the architects of the future generation and embrace the family as a good place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's well answered. So now, you talk about, generational curse or generational trauma, but what you say today actually changed my mindset that we can actually be generational blessing or
Sure.
generational opportunity. So our individual decision to fix what was broken or to even advance what was even working. You can make it excellent, just connecting it to your previous conversation
Mm.
of how we can strive to be excellent. So if, for example, your ancestors were great guys and great women, you are from Inpantu, in our language, then you can even make that thought even bigger. Or if none of issues ke chi ke lo yi bo pan la ikutung or pan putin. Then now you have a decision to design that family be partnering in the future. So thank you for that. Very powerful. Over to you, then.
Hi, thank you so much. You have brought another question that was so interesting, and I was really enjoying. People should not be to say before. The misuse of the purpose has become an abuse. So you cannot even use yourself to be a knife to cut someone. So that one, you cannot use a knife to cut it. That is an abuse of purpose because that was not what it's used for. That was something that was so nice, and we have narrated a lot of things. And I hope our audience are engaged. And a greeting to you all. I've seen someone there down writing greetings. We also send our regards to you. Thank you for joining us. And let's continue right down there our questions. So we are here today to answer your question. Whatsoever question that you have on the functioning design and how to succeed in life, so fine. We have the engineer today is fixing things, and there's not still that is going to be left undone today. So back to just a follow-up question on the you have been talking about. It is already relating to your own field of studies. So you're talking about design, and when you come to the the area of so things to do with design, you first design. Um, you now look for the of what you have designed. So you see the solution, you get the solution, design how it is going to be solved. Yes. So let's talk about as you are a technology expert, let me just say it. So. You see, we have a lot of things. People are moving into the world of development, innovation, and all those things. And the young people, they want to jump from a zero level to level. I don't really know and reach there. Like in the world of today, people wanted to succeed and they see the shared duty and other thing. They just want to reach there and they do the way that is not supposed to help them. So how do you really what do you have to tell them that they should use the technology and so that it can really reshape the world of work or like how they do their thing so that they design the solution that are aligned to their careers so that they succeed. So I think the question okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Once again, yes. On this part here is very critical that if you go to the world, a lot of money is spent on research than the one that is used to produce the medicine. Why? Because knowing the problem is more important than solving it. So first thing is that as an individual, what is my purpose in life? Technology is a tool, and technology is a tool to solve a given problem. A problem comes in where we are focusing on trends, but trends is not a problem. When you say this is my life and this is what I want to accomplish, then you can go and choose which tool can help me to do that. So purpose is problem focused. There is no purpose that is problem free. And then now when you know the problem now, and then now you now look for a specific tool that will solve that problem. Technology is very innocent. And that's why when people say that, the technology is moving this world, yes, in that context, it could be right, but technology is not moving anything. If you move the people in the world now today, technology will remain like this for the next 20 years. It is people thinking about the world that is changing how things are working. And that is it, isn't it? If people stop thinking, technology will not move. There won't be AI. 2022 chat GPT and this one came a little earlier. Yes, because somebody was thinking that, yes, I have this life in me. I have God is given purpose in me. But how can I accomplish it? Then you choose what are some of the tools that you will use to do that. So that's where when we look at innovation, yeah, there are problems which have been solved in different ways, but after some time, you realize that you can better solve them in a given way by even let's say working on the same tools or redesign the approach. That's where innovation actually comes in. So you look at the problem, and problem is focused. Purpose is problem focused, not trend focused now. So if we understand that, then it will be fine. Then technology is not a substitute, isn't it, for purpose? No. Like now, for instance, if we say, what is the purpose of those in academia, the academics? Now, should they outsource their purpose to AI? No, that is not. Then that one becomes the abuse. If the technology now replaces the purpose for a given person, then that becomes the abuse. Technology simply helps to say, okay, now this is your purpose, isn't it? But now I am ready as a tool to be used. I have been iterating a little earlier that, the coming of planes and the cars and even the self-driving cars, it has not stopped human beings from walking, isn't it? Humans continue to walk and they will always walk. But now those ones are coming to give it speed, isn't it? That's why as you cover distances now, it is easier to fly to the rest of the other African countries, to America and the rest of the country. Why? Because now speed. So planes are now coming in now to add speed, but they are not actually removing the purpose. They are not actually saying that, no, human beings should not walk. We continue to walk, but we actually reducing that level of limitation. That how long can you take to walk from here to Canada? How long can you take to walk from here to UK? Isn't it? Then now, tool comes in now to speed up, isn't it? So technology does not substitute, and that's where people confuse technology with people. Technology is not, even AI will not replace anyone. It is only those who know AI will replace those who do not know. But somebody who does not know that will confuse it as AI is replacing people. No. It is when you are having the tools of 2020, 2019, and 2018 and 2015, then the world says, yes, you are living in the current world using the tools of the previous world. And so now you will not match, because the world will not entertain using the old tool to solve the new problems. And so the people who now know how to use the new tool to solve the current problems now are the one who will replace you, isn't it? So problems endure. So careers built only around temporary trend is risk becoming justice or creativity. So when you just focus on that temporarily, let's say when you focus on something that is designed to be temporary, and then there are a number of concerns. Now, self-knowledge, especially when it comes to technology now, it actually helps, again, is imitation. Because imitation is where you just simply, I just need to do things the way they have been done. But actually, if you look at technology, say this is this technology. Yes, AI has come, but AI did not come to solve global problems the same way, isn't it? It is up to you now to take it and take it into the design and redesign it. Think about it. How can I solve our African problems using the same AI? So imitation is one of the things that actually hinders discovery of purpose and potential. Yes. As long as you see somebody doing it, you say, now, I want to do that. That's why even in the families, as far as technology is concerned, a little earlier, I think around 2012, 2011, when I just, 2012, when I was for software engineering for degree, someone said, no, why are you doing software, computer, what for? Everybody has done computer around. They were pointing me into the careers where they have seen people building houses. You see, even so and so is an engineer. He has built a house. He did civil engineering. This one did electrical. You see, procurement and logistics now is very, very marketable. You see, the only thing that is marketable is that thing that God has deposited in you. That is the lifetime marketability. Otherwise, focusing on trends is never enough because they change. You know, President Trump will just simply decide today and say, I think I will just cut the donor funding. If your life was only focused on that only, yes, if you have been looking at them as ladders, okay, yes, if you have been looking at them as those which are supporting your life purpose, that is okay. But if you have been looking at just these temporary, these situational designs of the world as your life purpose, anytime they will make it something different. So innovation flows from vision. Every innovation comes from vision. You know, the Bible says, where there is no vision, people perish. Yes. It is not about money. It is not even about resources. It is about vision. And that is why there's something that God had to assure Joshua and said, I will give you the land of I will give you the king, and I'll give you the land, and I'll give you the people. Why did he start with the king? Because that's where the vision is. Yes. When the king is gone, the vision is lost. Unless it was deliberate in passing the vision to the next generation. So otherwise, God would have said, I will give you the land. If he gives the land first, when the king is still there, it will be very difficult. If he gives the people, so he said, I will give you the what I will just give you that king. So they had even an opportunity to kill the king. Because once they kill the king, they kill the vision. Because he's the one who knows where is this land going to. The resources in the ground are being processed in the brain of the king. Yes, whatever is on the ground, whether it's diamond or whatever it is, if they're not in the brain of the leader, they are very useless. They will not help. You will still see so many beggars who are seated on oil and diamond. Why? Because they are not being processed here. So God said, I will give you that king. Because once you arrest the king of Ai, the people don't have the vision, and the land does not have the vision. So automatically you will conquer everything. Even technology, there must be vision. Otherwise, technology without a vision is misdirected. It can be directed to abuse. It can be misused. It can even be used to take the world back to chaos because of technology. So it is technology as a tool. It is the purpose that guides technology. And so as the young people struggle now to engage with technology, the first thing they should have is that what is my life purpose and what is the vision? Then now technology and the rest of the tools are simply tools to put your vision into the mission now. You're simply doing everything every day as you accomplish that. Otherwise, if it is only technology alone, technology will become a big problem. But now technology has been guided. A compass of technology is vision, and it is purpose. They say technology, you are not supposed to go this side. You're not supposed to abuse human being. You are not supposed to bring unnecessary disaster. You were designed for that. So when vision and purpose are now the one directing technology, technology becomes useful, isn't it? It actually becomes a tool that I use to accomplish God's purpose. And that is what is required for every young person, that I know why I am here in this life. Then I go outside there to look for tools, and then I find that technology takes me faster. It actually supports my vision. It is one of the tools that I can use to speed up. Then I pick technology now. Then what I do, I guide the technology using that vision. No, you are not supposed to use this. You are not supposed to use it, including this technology. Without the vision of all, we can abuse it. We can have it as a platform where we can spread hate speech. We can use it to abuse communities. We can even use it to abuse ourselves. But because we have chosen it to, it is being directed by the life purpose of all of us and the vision behind it, we are using constructively. And so we need to use technology, design the technology in a way that it meets the function, and then it serves the purpose that God has deposited in each one of us. That after this life, there is level of accountability. I had given you this life. How did you use it to function? Isn't it? What tool did you design so that it can function the way it meets the purpose through which God has given you? And I believe all of us, we are capable of doing that. Thank you.
Oh wow, that was so nice. And let not follow the trend, but we should use our vision. So when you don't have a vision and you follow the trend, you don't know where you are going. Thank you so much, Anthony. You have really broken down this topic.
I'm not sure if it's Louis froze.
Yes?
Okay.
You're not getting me.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry, I did
You're
not
not
catch
getting
you.
me, right?
But did you ask any
Oh,
question
sorry.
earlier?
No, I was just complimenting what you said. So I was saying we should not follow the trend, but we have to follow the vision. Yeah, so that was it, and the network I cut it off. So we have come to the end of our topics today, the discussion. So thank you so much, the viewers that has been actively engaging on the comment section and those who have been watching on us. So we will come back again next week on Saturday, and we hope that the topic that we'll bring again, people will still enjoy. So I would like to welcome a call Philip to tell us the U-turn message, and then after that, it's going to be concluded by the engineer to the viewers today, so that they should focus on, they should understand what the purpose is and the design is your U-turn message at last. So unfortunately, you're welcome. I don't know, maybe you have a question, so you can ask, and then we bring the discussion to an end. Thank you so much, everyone that has been in the comment section.
Thank you so much. And my main takeaway before Ben Engineer show Jala close is that understanding our own purpose is key to everything in our careers, in our society, in all the fields. He said in politics, there has to be a purpose. In economics, there has to be a purpose. Even in church, there has to be a purpose. There is purpose in everything. So that is my main takeaway. Going and in my personal life, I need to know like what my purpose is. And now I have understood that the education that we go through, the careers that we build, they should be aligned with our purpose. They are tools to support the purpose for which the God has created each and every one of us. So that is the main takeaway from me. I'm going outside with the belief that what is it around me that I am using to serve the purpose that God has created me to do. The question by Athierot, and that's what I hope everyone who is listening here, you can share what your main takeaways in the comment section. What is it that you are leveraging from your environment, from your society, and how is that guided by vision to the last point? Because you can have all the tool, you can have the purpose, but if you don't have a clear positive vision, you can destroy the humanity. So like example ne chi engineer Chinwell, if we had we created this platform with the vision of destroying ourselves and our communities, we will not be talking here positive thing. The later produce stories okay go engineer ka law 70 years ago or teach live the law in Ghana. Ke ka kalwel ke man later kurutene the later koiko the later communities and blaming the government or doing so many other things that are toxic, inciting violence. But because we've decided that the vision of this platform is empowerment, it is inspiration and motivation, it is growth and progress. That's why we are talking today on how to understand it better, how to build it better, and how to succeed. So thank you. That is my U10 lesson for today. And over to you, Engineer Fajalavi.
All right, thank you, Utan family, and thank you those who are following us today. Yes, we are focused on understanding purpose, function, and design. And we did not go deep into this. We will have another opportunity next time to look into that. What is very important here is to know that this life that God has given you and me has been given for a given purpose, and all the desire and it has to function in the way to meet that purpose, and the design has been established to meet the function for which that purpose exists. So our role is always to ask a question: why do I exist? Answer that in a way that tells you that you exist for a given purpose. And whenever you meet that purpose, always use all the ladders around to support that God is given purpose. Whenever you get any design, not every design serves the purpose. If you don't know your purpose, you can choose a design. And that's why, as we said earlier, that lions are very happy with who they are, isn't it? They don't have to be fish. They don't even have to be egos because they have been designed for a given purpose. That is the same thing with us. Wherever there is destiny, there is always purpose. And there is always a function that God has established. That's why we go back to where we were earlier on. That God said, let us make man in our own image. Adam did not come to fidget to ask himself, what should I do? No. God has already established what he is supposed to do. So his responsibility is to conform that function because it has been designed specifically to meet that. So us, for us to have you always, let us always question: do you know why you are alive? If you know, are you functioning the way you should be functioning? If it is, have you really designed your life in a way that by the time you exit this world, people will really be happy that she lived, function the way God has given, according to the way God has given him or her that talent, and then all the design that has been around him or her was to meet their life purpose. And if that is the case, we will always find ways to collaborate, because when you know your function and the design, you are not ashamed to say, I do not know, because you don't want to function like somebody. You will welcome ways of collaboration, because if I am limited by this, then I know that that is not my disadvantage. This is something that tells me that I wasn't designed to do this, so somebody else should do it. And that's why if it was a session, a bigger session where we need people who are to focus on music, I think now maybe a Paul Philip will be the one who will support us as a musician here. But for me, I would simply say, let us invite somebody. Why? Because understanding purpose and the function and the design helps you to appreciate limitation, isn't it? So limitations do not become restrictions. You look at limitation, yes, I am not in position to do this. Please come and do it. We can collaborate, we can partner in this, we can partner in that. And we say, yes, at the end, each of us has poured something out to this life out. As we conclude, Paul said that when he said that my life has been poured out like a drink, you know, the best way when you are spending life is when you spend it on others through your life purpose. That by the time this life is actually ending, it has been spent. We look at life in terms of of plant or seeds. You see, at times we look at it that when human beings are also producing human beings, you said, okay, somebody has children now, okay, you have children, then they say, okay, now I think these people are good, isn't it? When somebody has died, they say, yeah, has left behind the children. We think that the only way we can reproduce is by having children. But there is a way you and me as seeds, we are planted in this world, we can influence the world by producing other plants which produce seeds, which produce other seeds. And that's why when Paul said that I have fought a good fight, I have won the race, and I have kept the faith. And that is what is remaining, is that what the crown of what? Of life, that God himself will be the one to stop it. Why? Because he felt that in this life he has fulfilled his purpose. He has not died empty. It is possible to have a lot of money and a lot of buildings, but your life tells you that you have not lived, isn't it? You have simply come to the world to function, but you did not function according to the purpose. It is my call today that let us go there. If we do not know our purposes in life, let us know them. And let us be intentional on which function to choose, because functions are misleading. And let us be careful with designs, because every design is meant to accomplish a given purpose. Thank you, U-Turn family, once again, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. And on the comment section, I'm seeing it as people are like, maybe we should stay longer, but that is so interesting. It's good that it's interesting, and people have been there. Thank you. And destroy you don't know how to use them, so you should have vision. Thank you. And Q-Tan family, we've come to the end. Bye bye for now. We will see you again next Saturday. And keep following the U-Turn. Thank you so much. Bye.
As we come to the end of this conversation, I just want to take a moment to remind you that the growth doesn't happen without taking a new direction. So if there is a message that has given you some clarity, some courage, or even a little bit of push towards the positive direction, I want you to take that with you, sit with it, go offline with it, and encourage you to continue to invest in your personal growth, and say thank you for taking the time to be here for yourself and for the community, for the growth of the community. The U-Turn is not just a show, it's a community where real talk, real growth, and real U-Turn happens. So until next time, stay empowered, stay intentional, and never be afraid to make a U-Turn. Thanks. Bye.